Welcome back. It's my project, and I will cry if I want to. So, today I'm going to look at the drive shaft that goes between the engine and the hydraulic pump on this crane. And it's just a short little drive shaft with a couple universal joints in it. And the reason that I'm going to be looking at it is a couple of things. So the first thing is the grease fittings really seem impossible to get onto unless I take it apart to grease it on the universal joints. So I want to get those greased. So that's number one. The second reason is I have to replace the belt. Actually, I have to replace the power steering belt because it's a little messed up. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you know when I did the power steering system and I put the pump on it first, I had the pump kind of lock up and the belt obviously still spun, so it cooked it a little bit. Still works, but it should be replaced. And then, since I'm going to be doing this, I might as well replace the regular serpentine belt that goes for the alternator and the water pump and everything, because they both have to end up going over that drive shaft, because that drive shaft comes right off the front of the crankshaft. So that's another reason. And then I have a final reason, which is depending on how these videos shake down, you may or may not have already seen that I'm working on a project that has to do with the hydraulic spool valves in the front of the machine that are for some of the functions of the crane with the levers. And because I have a bunch of hydraulic lines unhooked, if I were to start the crane, right now oil would go everywhere, but if I even were to plug and cap everything, then I would overpressure because there'd be nowhere for the oil to flow. So what I'm going to do is disconnect that drive shaft, and then I'll be able to put the belts on, and I'm going to leave it disconnected for now so that if I need to, I can start the crane and drive the crane around, move it. Right now I'm lucky enough to be under roof, but someone graciously is letting me do that. It's not my roof, and sometimes other stuff may need to be in here. So here's a view from under the crane of the drive shaft I'm talking about. And as you can see, here's one of the grease fittings that I was talking about, and there's really no way you can get on that with the drive shaft on here, so I think it's kind of silly, but I will be taking the drive shaft off either way at this point, and I'm gonna grease that when it's off. I figured some of you might not know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these little locks for these bolts, so I figure I'll just show you what I mean. So as you can see, there's a metal band here that goes between these two bolts, and this little tab here and here is folded up beside the flat of that bolt head so that you can't turn it right now and it won't vibrate itself loose. So you have to bend that little tab over, flatten it out, and then you can turn that bolt head out. Got a socket that'll fit. So there's our little drive shaft. We'll take a better look at that in a minute. Here's what's left down here. These caps are actually strapped together like these ones here. So even if I do run this engine, they won't come flying off, and the other two are bolted in still. So I can leave it like this. I was worried I'd have to take it off the other side too, but here's a little better look at this drive shaft. So there's a grease fitting here, which must be for the plunge or whatever here that you can get. And then there's a better look at that grease fitting, and that's why you can't grease this when it's together, because you have to at least turn. So you'd have to take at least one side off and pivot the universal just to be able to get in there. But that's okay, because I can do it now, and I can do the one down there, which is just a plug, by pivoting the universal down there, I think, with it still on the machine. So now that I have that drive shaft off, it's going to be possible to get these belts off. So I think I can just loosen the main belt with the alternator. You loosen up that bolt, and I don't know if you have to loosen another bolt, and I think it just slides over in this slot and takes the tension off of this belt. And then it's a similar story on the power steering pump. There's a few bolts down here that you can loosen up, and then this whole bracket that the power steering pump is mounted on slides over and takes the tension off of that. So that's what I'm going to work on next. I think I might have to loosen this bolt down here as well, just so that you can pivot there. That's how you hurt yourself. Oh! Wow. Oh my goodness. I guess I need a different tool. Well, the bolt didn't break loose, but the whole thing pivoted. So that might work for me. That's enough. Is it enough? Oh, it's so close. See if I can get it to go a little more. There we go. That ought to do it. Okay. There's one. And there is two. And I do already have a replacement of this because I was able to read numbers off of it. But I read numbers off of this one too, but those numbers didn't seem to cross to anything, so I'm probably just gonna have to have this measured and get a belt for that, but that should be no problem. Unfortunately, the parts store, the local one, is closed right now, so I'm not gonna be able to get these belts today, but hopefully tomorrow I'll get these belts and get them back on. And once I get the belts back on, I should be able to move this if I need to. That way, the alternator and the water pump and the power steering will all be working again. And then I can move this around if I need to. Alright, it's the next day. I've got my belts. I think I have all the tools I need to put them on. So I'm going to go ahead and get this engine compartment open and see if we can slap these on there. Go ahead and start with the belt for the alternator and the water pump. Get it over the fan first. Over the drive shaft, or the crankshaft pulley. Past where that drive shaft will be. And there we go. Pry this over. Now the power steering pump belt. It does seem like it's a hair shorter, but should work. Alright, belts are on. So now this machine should be movable. Well, the crane is movable once again, so I can pull in and out from under this roof as I need to. You know, if other things need to come in here. That job was pretty easy, just a couple belts, get that drive shaft off, but hope you enjoyed watching it. You'll get to see me put that drive shaft back on at some point probably, and as I said, I am working on the valves up at the front of the crane for the controls, so you'll see that coming soon too. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.